Warning, what you are about to hear is two guys talking completely unfiltered.
Cut. What are you doing? We don't do disclaimers. The show's called Totally Unprofessional for a reason.
I'll see what you did. You're wasting our intro time.
Yeah. Start the show.
All right, welcome back. Episode
37.
counting down. We're not
not quite to your age
Still
yet.
not on my age, and I just logged another year, so
Yeah.
well, you got to catch me for a couple of weeks, anyways.
Yep.
Those of you wondering, I turned 39 the other day, so I'm still not 40. It's still hanging low, so I'm good. You know,
That's all that matters.
that's all a man can ask for, right?
Hey, just make sure when you take a shit that you don't smash your nuts in that toilet.
You know
seat.
what?
You
It
gotta
hasn't
be
gotten to
careful.
that point yet, man. They're still tucked up pretty good, so I haven't taken it up beaten
Fair
yet.
enough. Fair enough.
So we're just discussing this right now. This is the first time in 3 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went you and Gio.
We had the wrestling episode, and then we both had to do a solo
Yeah.
episode apiece last week. So.
Getting through fantasy football drafts is tough.
Yeah.
So how many are you in?
2. I'm in 2.
So Fernie, because we played ball this morning,
Yeah.
Fernie asked me this morning, hey, how many fantasy drafts you in, bro? I said 5 again. And I was just telling you,
Fernie went out there?
Fernie was playing. He's been playing ball. He said he'll be there tomorrow.
All right,
so,
I'll be there.
Hopefully he shows up again. Yeah, he goes, how the fuck you wind up in 5? I said, before last year, I had told Justin, man, I got to get out of like 2. I got to get out of like 2 of these. And he was like, okay, cool. So I ended up with 3 last year. Well, I got picked up for 2 more. So I did end up dropping one and starting a different one.
Well, you dropped the one with one of the ones that I'm in,
Yeah.
and picked up another one.
Yeah. So it just, and the work one's cool because it's 12 guys and it looks like there's a bunch of fish. So I should be making some money.
Nice.
But yeah, so I ended up in 5 overall. Decent drafts. I did not have Forsett on any of them.
That's good.
Thank God.
You're welcome for the insider info.
But you know what? He ended up getting re-signed.
I'm going to start calling you Martha Stewart.
Insider trading, baby. He ended up getting re-signed. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Baltimore re-signed him, restructured the deal, released him, let him clear, and then they can give him a new contract option. So they probably just wanted to save some money. Older back. I mean, kind of chicken shit if you ask me. But hey, yeah, I'm sure the guy still wants to play. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There was a big old scramble in Freddie's league yesterday. They
that was your phone.
that was my goddamn phone. I know shit.
So that means you owe me a drink, buddy.
Vodka and Red Bull.
That works. Drink's a drink.
So yeah, so Freddie's league went crazy when Forsett got released, and they're like, okay, you get a free draft, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So me and a couple other guys were like running back in the text message. I said, the rule does not say that. He said, yes, it does. We took a shot of the rules and sent it to me. I said, hey, bastard, it doesn't say cut. It says injury, or it says retired, and that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't specify cut. If the bastard wasn't good enough to make the team, that ain't our fault. You should have, done your research on the player more. And really, to me, I think outside of Steve Smith Jr. and Flacco, you're staying away from Baltimore. As it is. They weren't consistent enough in anything else. And Flacco,
And even Steve Smith Jr. is a question coming off that injury. So.
Yeah, you don't know what he's going to be like. And I don't think he wanted to finish like that, which is why he came back one more, because he wasn't supposed to come back up first.
Right.
So that was definitely an interesting set there.
I even think Flacco's going to struggle a bit too. I don't think he's going to be as strong as he has been in the past numbers wise.
Well, you got Kamara Aiken, and there's another kid there. I can't remember his name, but.
Well, Perriman's coming off of the surgery from the ACL.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens over there. I was reading some AFC predictions. And
with or without your bifocals?
With them.
Okay.
I gotta back up the screen and then get the glasses to focus it out for me.
Makes sense.
I was reading some AFC predictions. It pisses me off. Everybody's taking the fucking Steelers. And the best offense in the league. Hey, motherfuckers. My team has run that division for 5 straight fucking years. Yes, we lose in the playoffs. But before you start giving away our division crown, which is really the only thing we cling to at this point, if you're a Bengals fan, remember that we're the defending champs. And we finished the last part of the league with a hurt quarterback. Last 2 games plus the playoff game, we're playing with our backup, who, for all intents and purposes, is a rookie last year.
Yeah.
He never really played any serious time. So it's kind of a jab at Cincinnati, but you know what? I love when my team proves people wrong.
Hard to root against Big Ben.
It is. I agree. It is. The problem is that with all of those division games, it's real hard to say they're the best offense in the league when you're playing someone twice a year.
I can see a toss-up. Not in recent years where, Baltimore was tough. They were tough. You guys were tough. The only one you really didn't have to worry about in that division was Cleveland.
Yeah, and now you got Hugh Jackson over there.
Yeah, and so they're gonna surprise some people, I think.
Yes.
But if you're looking at if it's between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, the experience factor and the big game and clutch moments factor goes to Big Ben.
I'm gonna tell you what, he has not, outside of the playoff game, he has not been able to beat him in a big regular season game. And you would argue that it wasn't even him that beat them in the playoff game last year. It was more Cincinnati beating themselves with those 2 penalties, So,
well, I wouldn't make that argument. I'm not a Bengals fan.
You know what? Watching that, I think a lot of people agreed that maybe one was a penalty and one wasn't, or however you want to look at it. But I definitely don't take anything away from, as a NFL fan, from Cincinnati and what they've done the last 5 years, how they've stayed consistent. And their biggest problem this year is going to be that second receiver. They're unproven there. Yeah. Eifert's out for a couple of weeks. He is listed as probable for this week, which was cool, but we all know he's not going to play.
Yeah.
So they're looking for that second one. Look for them to use Bernard a lot, Hill a lot. Maybe going over the top to Green, using some inside stuff.
I have Dalton as a backup quarterback in one of my leagues.
I think he's a good backup. I even think he's a quality a starter if you didn't grab one of those top tier quarterbacks like Ben or. I don't consider Matt Ryan a top tier, but you could use him as a starter. Even Carr could be taken ahead of Dalton.
That's who I have. I have Matt Ryan ahead of him.
If you waited till the late rounds and you didn't get a quarterback and you tried to chase running backs and receivers, Dalton is one of those late round quarterbacks. You could take that, would manufacture 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, my other league I have Drew Brees and Derek Carr.
I had Drew Brees. That was in Freddie's league. That's where I went with that, and I hope that works out.
That scar brings him luck.
Not only that, he had an off year last year, so I look for him to bounce back maybe 1 or 2 more years before he probably retires. So,
yesterday, took a day trip
up in Oakland
to San Jose, Santa Clara, Oakland area. On the way there, a friend of mine lives in Stockton. Now, he used to live in San Jose. We have the tradition of going to the A's Red Sox game, at least one in that series every year. And at the last minute, he had an emergency that he couldn't make it. So, me and the girlfriend drove up to Stockton, and we actually found the Nate Diaz mural by mistake. We were driving around, and if anybody knows what Stockton looks like if you've seen the advanced preview of the McGregor-Diaz fight, they kind of go in depth a little bit on Diaz's background and Stockton and stuff. And it looked shitty. On TV, it looked shitty. And so when we got off the freeway in Stockton, I was like, okay, this is kind of it's a little bit of a rough area.
Yeah.
And the girlfriend was like, I don't know about all these and mind you, it's 9:30 at the time that we're in the morning when we're there. And so there's not a whole lot of people awake. There's not a whole lot of people running around. And so I just see bigger buildings in a big city type look in the building. So I started just driving towards that direction, trying to find somewhere to pull over to get a hold of my friend to find out what was going on. And as we were getting there, I hit a stop sign, pulled up to a stop sign, and I just happened to look both ways like you do when you drive. Yeah. And as I looked over, the mural was right there on the right-hand side, and there was a guy taking a picture of it on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And so we pulled over and we took pictures of it, and a dude in a wheelchair who looked like he was struggling out there was rolling by, and the girlfriend of course is like, come on, let's take a picture of you and I. I'm like, let's get the hell out of here, as quickly as possible, take your picture, let's get the fuck on. And she's like, no, you don't want, and I'm like, hurry up and take the damn picture. I'll stand next to you, you hold it out, take the selfie style picture. So she takes it and she's like, no, but I said, get in the damn car, we gotta go. And as soon as we start walking, of course, the dude in the wheelchair rolls over, and he's like, hey, buddy. I'm like, oh, shit. Get in the car. Just get in the car. So she starts walking towards the car, and then he's like, I painted that. And I'm thinking, oh, God.
Here we go.
And the dude was probably 60.
Oh, shit.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. And so, I'm just, she's looking at me what do I do? What do I do? And I'm like with the hands, shooing her towards the car, just go. And I'm like, oh, hey, man, it looks nice. Just got in the car, let's get the hell out of here, quit playing around. Where's the freeway entrance? The fuck out of here. So
funny.
we kept driving, and we had time because the baseball game didn't start until 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "Are you hungry?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm starving." I was like, "You know what? We'll drive down to like Santa Clara, San Jose area and eat, and then we'll drive over to the stadium because it's only 35 minutes from San Jose to Oakland to the O.com or O.co, whatever it is." So we drove down and into Santa Clara, and the way we actually went, it actually ran right by Levi Stadium and the 49ers Stadium. So I made sure to flip the finger for my brother and anybody else who feels so strongly about Colin Kaepernick. And she had never seen Levi Stadium and how big it is and like how much, because you know it's expensive as hell. Yeah. It's brand new in the NFL stadium, so she'd never seen it, so she got to see it. It had all the 49er banners up, the 70-year banners and all that business. And then we drove over to Smoke Eaters. Which is like right around the corner from there. If you've never heard of Smoke Eaters, they were on Man vs. Food. They have a wing challenge.
Nice.
It's like super hot. Like it's listed as one of the hottest. But if you're from the Valley and you know Doghouse, it's like San Jose, Santa Clara areas. It's their version of Doghouse.
Oh, okay.
That is what it is. So we went and had lunch there, and then we took off back up to Oakland. And made it to the stadium, no problem. Got in. Our seats were awesome. We were sitting behind home plate, up in section 215. So
any foul balls?
Dude, there was like 12 that flew around us. Like none too like right at us, but there was around us. There was all kinds. Like,
nice.
Because it like our level was right where the net ended behind home plate. So everything that was coming back was coming back. There was a girl in the front row who almost wound up with 3 of them in a row. Like she wound up with one because it hit the digital board and the ball actually rolled up the railing into her lap.
Oh, wow.
And then another one hit 2 seats over from her, hit the back of the seat and flew back down. And then another one, same thing, where like it landed, like it hit her like in the glove. She was leaning over the railing. It hit her in the glove and she thought she didn't have it, and she opened up her hand and like turned around and it fell. Like she didn't know she had it. She was probably like 15, 16 years old. So she almost wound up with 3 of them. And then everything was cool. Like we didn't have too many people around us, which was nice. Mostly older people, and I found a new way in and out of that place where you don't got to go all the way down the stairs to get to concessions. Cool. Like they have a bar and grill up top, and you could sit in like a seating area and eat and watch the game from like what would be equivalent to like a dining area, like a suite.
Yeah. Which
was really cool. And the tickets were only $35 a piece. Like they were dirt cheap. But this girl, this guy, and a kid, we got up to get something to drink. So she was like, this is the second game we've been to. We're still going to 2 more in 2 weeks. And she was like, I want a commemorative souvenir cup. So I'm like, okay, let's go get something real quick. And it was in between the innings or halfway through an inning, you know. And so we go and we're waiting in line. We get through everything. We get our drinks. And we go to sit back down. There's a man, a woman, and a kid sitting in our seats, like literally the 3 seats that we paid for. The one was empty because Timmy didn't know. And like she looks at me and she's like, "Are we in the wrong area? Like, did we come back to the wrong spots?" It's like, "Nope." Turn around, I look at the girl, I go, "Excuse me, are you guys in the right seats?" And the girl's like, "Oh no, we'll move." Like they knew exactly. And so then I was like, "It's okay." Like that middle section over there is like wide open because there's probably about 8 seats across, like all the way down the road that were wide open. And I go, "Yeah, man, if you guys just slide over, you know, not a problem." And the girl was like pointing at the guy like it was his fault. Like, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, these people look like they were probably like my age, like maybe younger. And so we're sitting there, and the kid's probably 10, and he's rooting for the Red Sox. And so then this girl's sitting there, and like I said, there was probably 10, 12 foul balls that come up. These balls start flying up. This girl starts losing her ever-loving mind. Wait, whoa, hey, whoa, oh my God. And we're talking like the nearest ball was probably like a solid 15 feet away. Like, not even close. Like I said, the one that we saw with the girl that almost caught 3 of them, she was in the front row. We were in the 10th row, up. Like, and then there was a few, but they were all spread out sideways. Nothing came in. Like, and every one of them panicked. Like, literally, every single ball she saw panicked. Well, then there's a dude sitting. I didn't realize he was sitting behind me. I look over, and it's not the old guy that was sitting there. Well, then the guy stands up, and he's leaning up against the wall and standing on the step. And she looks back, and not very quiet at all, this woman turns around and goes, "I think he's high as hell." And I'm like, oh, great. So then, like, as if that's not bad enough, she's like, tells the older man sitting behind me, she's like, can we have him sit down? Like, I don't want to see him fall down the stairs. Like, he's going to eat shit and fall down the stairs. And I'm thinking, is it really that big a deal if this guy eats shit? Maybe he deserves it if he's higher than hell.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and then, of course, my girlfriend's looking at me like, this girl won't shut the hell up. I want to punch her in the face. We're trying to watch the game. I'm in the same boat thinking, I'm like, hold on. Like, if we need to go, like, and let you punch her in the face, I'll tell you when to go, and you can punch her in the face, you know. But right now, we're okay. So then she's, like, literally tripping out over this guy standing there. So finally, the older gentleman just goes, hey, man, can you sit down, like, over there? The guy does nothing. So then she stands up. The woman sitting next to her stands up and goes, excuse me, can you sit down over there? My nephew over here was in a bad car accident. It was really traumatic, and I don't want to have him see somebody else fall down the stairs and get hurt or something dramatic like that.
Wow.
I was like, I've been in a car accident. It happens faster than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
That your reaction is literally instinctual and muscle reaction. There's no thought process to, I better let go of this or do that. It just happens. And I don't know what kind of car accident this kid was in. So, but I'm assuming, he wasn't hurt. He didn't have any scratches or anything. Yeah. So I'm assuming that on his end, it probably wasn't bad, but it was scary because he's a kid.
Yeah.
Being in a car accident and seeing somebody fall down a set of stairs are two very different things.
Oh, yeah.
And if you see somebody fall down the stairs, the worst you're going to get is, oh.
Yeah.
You're not going to get oh my God, no. I mean, it's not like the guy was going to fall down the stairs and roll all the way off the tier that we were on. Like, no. So she was being dramatic the entire time, pissing us off. So then she leaves. She tells the guy, I'll be right back. She goes and gets a replicated signed ball from, like, the A's merch shop.
Yeah.
I don't know whose signature on it. I wasn't really that enthralled, but it made me laugh because in between innings, she's like, look, I got you a ball, blah, blah, blah. And the kid goes, did Big Poppy sign this? And she goes, no, it's one of the A's people signed it, Mm-hmm. And he goes, then I don't really care about it. And hands it back to her. But it wasn't like ungrateful, like, fuck this ball. It was just like I'm not interested, like I'm a little kid, like that's not my favorite player. So then I'm laughing, and my girlfriend's like, what did he just say? I was like, he said he didn't want the ball. And so we're laughing, and then she's just like, where's the score? Can anybody? They have two big ass HD boards, one on each side.
Behind home plate, you can look right
like
out.
They're literally beautiful boards that they redid. And I'm like, well, if you were, I lean over and I'm like, well, if you weren't on your phone, you dumb bitch, you'd know the score. So I don't say nothing. And then all of a sudden, two guys from the athletics organization come over with a throwback yellow jersey and a hat. And they come over and they shake this kid's hand. They give him this jersey. She went and talked to them about bringing him this shit.
Wow.
This was following him going, I don't want this ball. It's not David Ortiz. And then the guys were like, oh, thanks for coming to the game. And they're like, who are you rooting for? He's like, the Red Sox. It was one of those moments where kids don't intend to be funny, but they just were.
Lit it up, yeah.
So, like, that was going on. Finally, she just shut the hell up and stayed on her phone, which after 2 innings, I was about ready to kick her and make her fall down the stairs. But there was a no-hitter going.
Oh, really?
For Eduardo Rodriguez for the Red Sox. Through 8 2/3 innings, dude's got a no-hitter going, but the score's 0-0.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I looked at my girlfriend, I said, hey, man, we may be here a minute. This may be a long game.
Yeah.
I said, and I didn't want to say, like, oh, he's got a no-hitter going out loud, of course. Yeah. Baseball, you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, 2 outs in the 8th, dude hits a ball, and Rodriguez stops it with his foot, like, under his cleat. It was in his follow-through. He didn't, like, as his foot came down, the ball wound up under his foot.
Huh.
He turns around, grabs it, gets it out, and they call the dude out. And they're like, everybody's like, yeah. There was a lot of Red Sox fans at the game.
Huh.
So everybody's going crazy, right? Of course, Bob Melvin, who's the manager of the A's, comes out and challenges it. By a half a step, the dude was safe.
Oh.
So it broke, and then they called it a base hit.
Yeah.
So that broke up the no-hitter. And then it's 0-0 going into the 9th. Our 3 guys were in the bottom of the lineup, and the 7, 8, 9 hitters, which didn't do anything, And then they bring in Craig Kimbrell, who they paid a boatload of money for to get from San Diego this year, who didn't close the Dodger game that we were at because he was still hurt. It was Tazawa that wound up doing shitty in LA when we were there. So this time they brought in Kimbrell, and I hadn't seen him in person, so I was like, I hope he does well.
Yeah.
Gets the first guy and walks him. I'm like, oh, shit. All right. So then they turn around. The second guy, he gets him out. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, that's one down. What happens? They fucking hit a ball to left field that hits the wall. Brock Holt misplays the ball. The dude scores all the way from first, and they went on a walk-off.
Oh, wow.
And, I mean, Kimbrell's pitch couldn't be any worse, dude. Like, it hung straight down the middle. Like, it was so god-awful.
Terrible way to end a game.
Yeah, after seeing such a good game as far as the pitching outing.
To finish
like
that.
and the Dodger game that we went to, it was 8-5. It was a solid scoring game. We saw 3 home runs. Like, I mean, granted, they weren't Red Sox home runs.
Yeah.
But they were fun to watch, you know. Mm-hmm. Hanley almost hit one that got caught at the wall. But, I mean, it was like one of those, if you're a baseball fan, it was like, I'm glad I'm at this game.
Yeah.
You know. And then as soon as, like, the no-hitter was over, it all went downhill. They brought in Kimbrell, and it was over. And I was like, but when we left, you could leave out the top. Like, you know how they have the concourse stairs up top? They let you leave out there if you're up top.
Oh, wow.
Because they don't let you walk up in there, like, when you come in the stadium. So we got out there, and I knew exactly the area we were in to get the car, hit the horn. Car was there. We got out. Got right out the gate, no problem, because you beat the crowds getting out of there, coming down the top, because there's hardly anybody coming out at the top. Everybody's funneling through the middle. So we get out, and I'm looking at the navigation, and I'm trying to drive. I miss the southbound exit and get on the northbound exit. So I'm like, well, fuck, I got to go down and flip around. So I go to flip around. The girlfriend's in the navigational seat now. She misses the same thing, and I get back on the north. So we missed about a solid 20, 30 minutes because of traffic and flipping around, because once we got back on southbound, we had to go past the stadium again. And there's traffic there.
Yeah.
So we lost that, but traffic wasn't horrible. I mean, it never actually came to a stop. I mean, there was some busyness, but nothing crazy. And, you know, got to see David Ortiz twice this year in his last season. Nice. Granted, he walked twice and struck out once. And then in LA, he pinch hit and walked. So I saw 3 walks and a strikeout from him this year. He didn't get a chance to hit the ball, but, you know, got to say that I was there for the farewell tour twice.
Yeah.
And you know, just a fun experience, man. Like I've sit in different spots at all these games now. Like the Dodger game, that was the first time I've sat above the digital ribbon, which they were great seats. And they were a little more expensive because it's LA. Mm-hmm. But as far as this A's game goes, man, like those are the best seats I've ever sat in. This is the 6th time I've been there, and these were by far my favorite ones for sure.
Did Oakland do anything for Ortiz?
They did the first night. They gave him a bottle of wine.
Oh, okay.
Bottle of wine. So you know it's up north.
Yeah, that's wine country. Yeah.
So they did that for him, but it was Breast Cancer Awareness Day at the park. Okay. So they were handing out pink wristbands that had the A's logo on it, and then they had breast cancer survivors that all had pink athletic jerseys that were all around the park.
Oh, nice! And
they hooked some of them up, like upgrading their seats and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was fun. And when, like I said, we got back at a reasonable time.
Yeah,
we were back in town by 7:30, so it was easy money. Good. It was a good day trip. Good day trip. Awesome. And like I said, in 2 weeks we'll be in San Francisco. Yeah. We're gonna watch.
You guys are watching 2 games.
Yeah, we're watching the Saturday night game and the Sunday afternoon game. They're playing the Cardinals because the girlfriend's a Cardinals fan, so she wants to see Yadier Molina. And I've never been to San Francisco ever, let alone AT&T.
They're Candlesticks though, right?
No, they're at AT&T Park, man. Wow. It's right there on the water.
Okay.
So it's super nice.
So where are your boys at in the playoff hunt right now?
They still lead the wild card. They lost because they lost. They're headed to San Diego today, so they traveled today to San Diego, and then because of the loss yesterday, they probably fell back because Toronto won yesterday, so they probably fell back a little bit farther. So they're last time I checked, they were like 2 games ahead in the wild card, but a game and a half back in the actual pennant race. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they're right in the thick of things. The problem right now is what I've said it's been all year, and that's the pitching. They can't get past the pitching. Oh, they're 1 game back.
1 game back.
1 game back of the division, and then so it has it. Oh, there it is. And we're 1 game up in the wild card. So Eric, your Orioles are the ones that 1 game back. So eat that shit. Yeah, I mean, and let's see, did they play today? Oh, apparently they played today. They played the Padres today, so they traveled yesterday because the game was over early. So they traveled to San Diego last night, and they lost 2-1 today. It's another one of those things, man, where they're giving up big hits, like where the hits they're giving up are at crucial times, and it's costing them games. Either their pitching shows up and they can't get an offense going, or their pitching does shitty and their offense does show up. So it's like right now they keep going back and forth. They give a game, they win a game. They give a game, they win a game. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Definitely looking good though heading into September, which is where you want to be, right in the middle of it.
You got to be lined up. You got to end of September. You got to be ready to make your move.
Yep.
Yeah, if that's what you need. Yeah. Otherwise, you're kind of.
There was a rumor that they were going to go after Yasiel Puig.
Well, he ended up back in LA.
He wound up getting called back up again, and then homers in his first game back.
I saw that the other day. We were watching. I don't remember where I was at.
People hate on him, but I like him.
He's a decent guy.
I like that he's young, that he likes to have fun, and people hate on that because baseball's a traditionalist sport.
Yeah.
And so I think it's funny when somebody that they don't like that like stands out against the mold like that does well.
Yeah. So this was an opening weekend for college football.
Yep.
How many upsets this weekend?
I was aware of at least 4.
What was it, 4 or 5? The big one? Oklahoma?
Oklahoma
Houston losing to Houston?
Houston looking good.
I got to catch some of that game. I think it was more Oklahoma not looking as good as everybody thought. Don't get me wrong, Houston played a good game, but I think Oklahoma just wasn't that strong to begin with.
I think they got more credit than deserved.
Yeah, definitely got seeded way up there. Alabama rolled.
Put USC. The ass whooping on USC.
That
that game was so hyped. That was the primetime game. Everybody's like, "Oh, USC's going to come out and put up a good game." And
USC's
it was like, no,
roster looked good on paper, and the recruits they were getting, and that whole retool or whatever they call it, it didn't work out. What a flop for a
UCLA, Texas A&M.
Yeah. The other one I was going to talk about was the.
No, I don't mean an upset. I just mean a good game.
Yeah.
In the UCLA Texas A&M game.
The Texas Notre Dame last night.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the end of that one? Dude, I was watching that. That was a hell of a game.
It was fun.
That was a hell of a game. Notre
Dame. Double overtime.
I don't know. I forget the quarterback's name from Texas. Swoops, I think is his name. Dude, that guy's a tank. It reminded me of watching Tim Tebow.
He's number 18, right?
Yeah.
He's the one that scored the touchdown in overtime to win it for him.
For those of you that don't know, he's a senior.
Yeah.
And lost his starting job to a true freshman, Buechele. And don't get me wrong, Buechele looked great during the game. He didn't seem to make any disastrous mistakes.
They split him?
No, he carried. Buechele played most of the.
So
game.
they Tebowed
So what they
him.
did was they used him in spurts, kind of like Tebow's freshman year. They would bring him in here and there. Swoops, when he's in, he's gonna get the ball and he's gonna go up the right side, just like Tebow. If he tries to go left, he gets stopped.
It's the try and stop me setup.
They just set him up and they hit him in the end zone. 2-3 yards out, he's money. Thought he did a real good, classy job on the post-game interview when they asked him, you lost your job to a true freshman. That's how they start the interview.
Nice.
How do you overcome the mental anguish of that and you're able to perform on this stage? He says, hey, I'm a team player. My team, this is what my team needs me to do. This is what I'm going to do. Hey, hats off to the kid, not many
Somebody
kids.
Talked to him.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, you're going to get badgered about this, right?
He's been coached, He's obviously been coached. But you know what? You got a mic in your face. A lot of times those kids, they say the wrong things.
I thought it was cool that, like, the last play that they scored on in that double overtime, he dove.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he stretched out and dove for it.
He shows that there's fire in him, He definitely, he's a competitor. He may have lost his job, but that doesn't mean, that doesn't speak about who he is. You got FSU, Mississippi going on right now. Mississippi's up 28-23.
Ole Miss?
Yeah. They're,
Did you see the highlight of the dude who dropped the touchdown for Florida State?
No, I didn't see that yet. Didn't he bobble it or something?
No, okay, so Florida State hadn't got a touchdown yet. This dude's wide open 10 yards out. They hit him. He catches the ball, turns and runs, and 3 yards out, drops the ball.
Fumbles it out.
Just drops it on his own. Like, nobody hit him, nobody touched him.
I had told you on Saturday about that hit from Wisconsin LSU.
Yes, dude got suspended a game.
1 game suspension. That's the other big upset was Wisconsin ends up beating LSU. Wisconsin's unranked. 16-14. Knocks off number 5 ranked LSU. Yep. So you got LSU and Oklahoma in the top 5 that are already losses.
Oregon beat UC Davis. Smoked them.
53-28. That's I don't want to say that's.
Oregon's ranked number 24 right now, so they'll be on their way up.
There's no reason they shouldn't. You got Oklahoma State.
Fresno, I felt bad for Fresno. I thought they were going to have a solid outing, especially at halftime. It was only 14-10.
What was the final? I didn't even see the final on.
I believe it was like 43-10 was the final, somewhere in there. It wasn't pretty. So I mean, it's just.
Now they were playing Nebraska, right?
Yes. Derek Carr posted on his Instagram a cool picture of him diving into the end zone from when he played Nebraska at State.
Yeah. They got Michigan State winning, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Appalachian State. We talked about this Saturday. Nobody gives Appalachian State the credit of what they are. They are one of the better schools in their division.
They always play a big name school the first week.
Yeah.
They always do. It never fails. So, USC signed a new deal to play Fresno State 3 times.
Yeah.
But
good or bad?
Bad for the scheduling. Like, did you see the dates?
No.
It's 2018, 2022, and 2025.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Oddball scheduling.
Yeah.
They're looking for something. Who knows what, but...
I mean, I'm hoping at one of those points Fresno State will be good again, and we can say we beat them.
They're going to have to start recruiting like the ways Hill used to, you know. He used to make a pitch for the big guys, and every once in a while he'd hit a home run, and it was enough to sway his team into the positive rankings, you know. I don't think anybody saw David Carr being a phenomenal QB, but I'll tell you
I wouldn't
what,
have seen him as the number 1 pick, I'll tell you that.
He was used wisely at Fresno State. You know, they used him good enough for him to get noticed into a number 1 pick, you know. They saw franchise in that guy. So who'd have known it was going to be a little brother that was going to have a better career. Of course, David didn't have an offensive line for many years.
Not to mention, like, I don't know who the receivers were when David played, but you're looking at Devontae Adams, who's an NFL receiver on the Green Bay Packers, who was on one side, and then you had Harper, who was on the other, who was an undersized receiver, but dude had hands.
Yes, definitely had hands.
So they definitely had some weapons, more so when Derek played.
So you got Louisville beat the crap out of Charlotte.
Yeah.
Stanford beats Kansas State.
Baylor smoked whoever they played.
Northwestern. That shouldn't have been a surprise.
Clemson, Auburn.
Yeah, Clemson, Auburn, 1913. I think Clemson's ranking is a little high.
They're number 2, right?
Yeah, they're number 2. I think that they're a little high, but you can't take away from Auburn. Auburn's historically, they've got running game there, and they're tough to slow down.
At what point do some of these big schools got to stop playing these little schools week 1? Like, you get a marquee matchup like you did, or what was supposed to be between Bama and USC.
Yeah.
But when you look at a score like Ohio State and Bowling Green, 77-10. I get playing a tune-up game week 1 because you want to get a flow of things. You want to get a game motion going on. I get that. But what good does that do for you as a ranked school in the top 25 where every single game matters?
Well, the theory is that strength of schedule plays into it. And
bullshit.
I agree with you 100%. It's bullshit because I don't think strength of schedule does play into it. Because if it did, teams like Ohio State, Florida State is another one. You'll see 1 or 2 blowouts with some small schools in their freaking schedule.
Not only that, but scheduling-wise, it's not true. Because when Derek Carr played at Fresno State, 2 years in a row, they won the Mountain West.
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, after the first year, one of the bigger schools should have reached out, or 2 of the bigger schools, not just one you have scheduled down the road, like they played Nebraska, but I'm talking like a top 15, top 10 school should have reached out and said, hey, we'll play this. You won your conference.
Yeah. It's not going to happen because that team was dangerous.
But that's the problem. That's why I say strength of schedule is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because if you're a big powerhouse school, and I don't just mean teams in the SEC,
and the
like
ACC,
I'm talking about just in general.
Yeah.
If you're a powerhouse school, you're going to avoid teams that you feel like can upset you.
Well, who was Baylor's win against? That was Northwestern.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they need to put more emphasis on the strength of schedule because if you're going to play marshmallows and then just have to win, okay, like the SEC, they don't have pillow schedules by no means, but their conference play is tough.
If you're not going to give people, the conference winners, a fair shot as like setting up a playoff system like the NFL or the NBA, a divisional winner moves on, right? If you're not going to give college football that, because you only give the Final Four in this playoff system, then you schedule them during the year. The conference winners play each other, and you can mix them up however you want. You want Sun Belt to play the MAC? Go ahead. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Have Big 12 play the SEC conference champion. You set it up like that, In basketball, they always have the ACC, was it Big 10 or Big 12 conference where they play each other for 1 week.
Yeah.
Big 12 plays another conference.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like, I don't see why in college football you don't see the dollar signs in playing another conference champion.
Well, their problem that they always look at is that's what it is. They don't think that those small schools will travel well if they take it at home, and they don't think that they can produce enough if they go into their own house. That was one of the problems that Boise had when Boise, who did they beat? Not Arkansas. It was Arkansas.
When?
Was it when Adrian Peterson was there that year that Zambrowski and Ian
He
Williams,
played at Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma. That year they beat Oklahoma in the
Fiesta Bowl? Yeah, the
That
Statue of Liberty play.
The next year they couldn't get games because they didn't think they would travel well enough.
Yeah.
Which was a shame because Kellen Moore ends up coming in, taking over from Zambrowski, and that team, that Boise 4 years was just as good as the previous 4. But they never had an opportunity to go in there and beat someone. They gave them TCU that 1 year.
Yeah.
Give TCU Boise. They made TCU the scapegoat in that one because it was like, okay, go in there. You beat them, hey, awesome, you win a major bowl. You don't beat them, and you're the GOAT.
Yeah.
It's TCU. They're not beating an SEC or an ACC team.
I don't understand, other than the money factor, why you have to have bowl games if you have a playoff system now.
Well, and that was the whole argument.
What is the point? If you're not in the Final Four, what's the point of a bowl game?
That was the argument when they came out with this playoff system. Why only 4? What good does it do anybody to only have 4? I love the March Madness because it takes every conference champion. It says if you win your conference, you're in. It doesn't matter if you're 13-13 or 15-10 or 25-2. If you win your conference, you're in. And then there's 8 at-large bids, 2 in each bracket?
I believe it's something like that.
Okay. Then you get the next best 8 schools.
And then you have the play-in.
Then you have two of them, right?
Yeah.
One on each side.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of opportunity there. And what are we talking about here? In a bracket of 32, it's 4 games you got to win or 5?
And it's 64 teams, 32 games. So you gotta go. I believe it's 5 or
Okay, so
6.
So it's 5-0, 6-0.
6, something like that.
I have to take a look at that. Let's say it's 6-0. You already play a 12-week schedule. Okay, why not? You get one. Texas does this with their high schools. You get 4 preseason, 2 preseason games, and then 4 conference games. They don't call them conferences. I forget what they call them, or district games. Sorry. And if you win your district, you get into the state playoffs. The state playoffs is I want to say it's a 24 team.
Yeah, it's huge
or something like
for
that.
high school. It's huge.
Big, yeah. And they make them run the table.
Yeah.
You legitimately have
to
play
play the best of the best.
You have to play your best for 5 weeks, or you're out of the tournament.
Yeah. I don't like that you don't give people the opportunity to even be in the hunt when every game is so volatile. Like, you have teams that lose a game and are still right there in the top, and you're like, wait a minute. My team went undefeated, and you're going, well, you didn't play the teams that these teams are playing. Okay.
Alabama, LSU, a few years back, remember that?
Yeah.
2 one-loss teams. You had 2 undefeated teams look on the outside looking in for that year.
To me, it should be, if you want every game to mean something like that, then you make that as real as possible.
Yeah.
If you're undefeated in the top 25 and somebody loses, see ya. You go down to all the way until you are better than anybody who else has a one-loss team.
Yeah.
Like, that's to me as real as it gets. But unfortunately, because of the almighty dollar, conferences like the Big 12, like the SEC, like the the ACC, these major schools are always going to get a play in it.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off. Like, that's why people go, well, Alabama's dominant. Really? Because I can pick out at least 3 years where they had one loss and they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, well, like Manti Te'o's year at Notre Dame. Oh, well, they dominated Notre Dame that year, in the championship game. Yeah, but should they have been there?
No.
No, the answer to that is no.
They should not have
been there. They're going to smoke whoever they play. Well, you lost. So whoever beat them should be ahead of them.
Yeah. You should never be able to pass them at some point, unless they go 2 losses behind.
Well, there was one year, I can't remember what it was, where it was somebody who had lost the game. I want to say it was Alabama. It might have been Auburn or somebody like that jumped a team that was undefeated in the
That was
rankings.
TCU. That was number 2. They were expecting TCU. That was Andy Dalton's senior year. They were expecting them to take TCU, and I don't remember who jumped them, but somebody jumped them, and TCU got stuck with the Rose Bowl because it ended up being USC or it wasn't USC.
No,
it was
USC.
Oregon and somebody else.
Wisconsin, maybe?
No, because TCU ended up playing Wisconsin
in the Rose Bowl. Because, and this is what's stupid too. You have these bowl games. If you look at what the Rose Bowl game is, do you know what it's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be the Pac-12 and the Big.
The Big 12.
Big 12.
Yeah. Like you're already designating who's gonna be in there. Like, why is that's not like? Oh, by the way, Fresno went undefeated this year. They beat Nebraska. They beat everybody in their conference. Went undefeated. But you got to play in the Poinsettia Bowl because you're not appointed to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
Yeah, definitely flawed system with football. Don't get me wrong. You'll see some good matches in some of those games, but I think a lot of the times they're not the right matches. They're not the matches that they should be based on performance. You know, does Saban do a hell of a job over there? Yes, he does. Does Miles do a hell of a job over there? Yes, they do. But we got LSU with a loss already now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you're hearing it here. I haven't watched any NCAA college football insiders on ESPN. Nothing like that. I'm going to tell you right now, if LSU doesn't lose the rest of the way out, they're going to wind up in the top 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they're going to say it was a week 1 loss.
Yeah.
That's the excuse. It's a week 1 loss. And then it was 2-9.
And especially if Wisconsin winds up playing well throughout the season, winds up in a high-ranked spot.
That team ended up being very good. You know, they need to be up there. They lost to a great team. I don't. That argument, it goes, you know, everybody has legitimacy for each side, but I just don't see it being fair. Like you said, we've seen Boise, we've seen TCU, we've seen Utah.
Yeah.
You know, those 3 schools have all gone into the Fiesta or somebody went into the Orange Bowl and won.
Yeah.
Not just went in there and was competitive. They won.
Yeah.
To me, the best performance of those 3 was TCU beating.
Oh, there's a shocker.
Well, it's not an Andy Dalton thing. It's a TCU. They beat a very, very good Wisconsin team in the Rose Bowl that year. Utah, the argument that year was that I forget who Utah was playing.
I don't remember.
I don't remember who it was. It was a Fiesta Bowl, though. They didn't get the same kind of competition from that team that they were playing that year.
Yeah.
You know? So.
But see, and that's my problem, though, is like, don't play schools that don't sit there and tell me, oh, well, you got to come to us because we're the defending champion.
Yeah.
Or we're, you know, if you're going to play a small school like a Fresno State or like a Nevada.
Yeah.
Who else would be on there? San Diego State.
Yeah.
You know, like the Pac-12 is willing to come down and play. Like we just said, they just signed a new deal with USC. At one point, they played Oregon. You know.
Yeah.
I would like to see them play at Stanford. You know, or an Oregon State. Something like that, where the Pac-12, it's in the driving distance as far as travel is close enough.
Makes sense. Yeah.
That it works. You know, because a lot of those teams do wind up in the hunt at the end of the season. But it pisses me off that like these small schools don't get a chance.
Yeah.
And then you'll play and I don't mean to offend any of those players as far as the school goes. I don't give a fuck. But the players that are out there busting their ass every day in practice, I don't mean to offend them. But what is the equivalent in the college football realm as an NAIA school?
Yeah.
And you smoke them by putting up 50, 60, 70 points and then go, yeah, that's why we're number 1. What do you mean that's why you're number 1? Like, get the fuck out of here.
You beat someone you were supposed to beat.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to win the games?
And I think that's the bigger problem with schools setting up games like that is those teams don't see a winning situation for them. Yeah. If you win, you were supposed to win.
Yeah.
If you lose, you look like the ass of the situation.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, why risk that?
Yeah.
We have national title hopes. We have big dollar signs.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the problem with money other than greed? When some of these conferences have their own network, and you're not willing to go play these other schools, it ain't about money, and at that point, that's just about greed.
And it's not even money that's legitimate because they're not paying any of the players. They're not helping the players beyond their scholarships. You know, you're talking about millions of dollars in revenue that the program's not able to help their students out more with. You know, they're just not doing it. So. Yeah,
on a college football side note, I told this story on the last episode. The Florida State wide receiver that had lunch with the kid who had autism at the middle school, they gave the kid he gave his jersey to the kid today.
Oh wow!
Before their game tonight, the mom got to go and and the kid got to go, and he gave his number 15 jersey to the kid, and unfortunately the media was all on top of it with pictures all in the kid's face and everything.
So some of the other things that the side notes. We talked about Sanchez a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's a Cowboy now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Surprised?
No.
Surprised that he was released? No. Surprised that he's a Cowboy?
No. Jerry Jones? No.
That doesn't surprise me only because Jerry Jones was a Testaverde fan.
No, you know what that tells me? They're more worried about that Romo injury than they're letting on.
Yes. Well, and then I talked a little bit about it on the other day. The guy just needs to step back and say, hey, I'm hurt. It's my back. My quality of life might not be the same. I got 6 weeks, guys. I'll probably heal up. We'll talk about my future at that point. He's really got to consider that. This signing of Mark Sanchez, like you said, that's them going, you know what? Yeah, we're all in with Dak Prescott. This is what we want to do.
Right.
But we really need someone. If something happens to Dak Prescott, we might not be able to might not be able to lean on Romo. So we're going to need someone in here who can play a little bit of ball.
Yeah.
Now, I would not put Sanchez in that category.
But you have to think that on paper that their offensive line is top tier in the NFL. So he's going to have protection. You can't really fuck up Dez Bryant as a weapon.
Yes.
You got a security blanket in Jason Witten.
Yeah.
You have a good running back in Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, the tools are there.
Yes.
And if you want to talk about what is your job, hey, just don't fuck this up. Well, that's the job he's looking at.
And they do got to put up points, though, because their defense is still a suspect.
Yeah.
Sean Lee out again. So until they figure out the defensive side of that ball, the reliance, and which is what happened last year, the reliance on Romo and him putting up points, it was real heavy. You had to rely on him to put up points 20 or 30 to make sure to cover up for the defense a little bit. Sanchez isn't that guy. That's why I thought that was a bad signing. It's like, okay, you need a gunslinger, for lack of a better term. Sanchez is not a gunslinger. Denver was the perfect situation for that guy because he had C.J. Anderson, he had Demaryius, he had short receivers. He had receivers that could catch the ball short and create after. He didn't have to put a 25-yard pass on the button. Yeah. He didn't have to be precise. He had receivers who could get the ball.
Yeah.
So now he's somewhere where the points have to happen, and you got to be a little bit more accurate of a passer. Not because the receivers are any less quality, but just because you're going to find yourself 21-10 or 21-7.
Yeah.
You're going to find those situations. Sanchez has proven he's not the kind of quarterback that can dig his team out of that hole, which is why the Jets never made the Super Bowl while he was there. That was the one thing they were lacking, was their ability to score points.
Well, that and the butt fumble.
Yeah, isn't that one? We already talked about Forsett.
Yep.
So here's the other big one that happened in the last couple of days. Sam Bradford
Gets traded to Minnesota.
Okay.
Which
Minnesota needed somebody.
They gave up way too much for that kid.
I agree. But it shows that Bridgewater's out for the year. He's not coming back this year. Zimmer felt strongly enough about the team's position playoff-wise, because you're talking about a division winner from last year.
Right.
He felt strongly enough
They're not
about
going to win the division this year.
Well, you don't know. I mean, you got to stop.
Green Bay's your division winner this year.
That defense is good.
If Jordy Nelson shows any, like they've
Flashes.
already cleared him to play the opener this weekend, if he shows any significant flashes of the old Jordy Nelson, Minnesota can bank on taking second place.
I don't know.
I'm telling you.
You guys forget.
People are suspect of Eddie Lacy this year. I've seen that a lot.
It's not about being suspect about Green Bay. It's about, I don't think that Minnesota got the credit for the growth that they had last year. Zimmer's a defensive guy. They brought.
This is what I'm going to tell you. Chip Kelly thought Sam Bradford was the answer in Philadelphia, and it got broke off in his ass. Now you're sending Sam Bradford to Minnesota with a star running back in Adrian Peterson, who runs a pro-style system. DeMarco Murray didn't benefit from Sam Bradford any more than Sam Bradford benefited from DeMarco Murray thanks to Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Because they didn't use him correctly.
Yeah.
So Sam Bradford could have done better last year if they
Yes.
would have used DeMarco Murray correctly.
Yeah.
I'll give him that credit. But who's he going to throw the ball to? Stephon Diggs? What about their defense? Their defense going to shut anybody out?
Yes.
No.
I'm telling you right now. That's
in their division. Chicago's going to get an ass. They can bank on being last in that division.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Or fighting for last. They can fight for the toilet bowl in that division, essentially.
Minnesota and Green Bay will fight for first, but it's not going to be Minnesota that wins that division.
You don't think so?
Nope.
So I'm going to rewind you back to
Here,
2000.
they played twice, right? Once there, once there, because they're division opponents. One of those 2 games, Aaron Rodgers either has the best game of the season for himself or a career game. You heard it first from me.
Wow, that's a bold statement
Yep.
there. Let's rewind 7 years.
Okay.
I think it's longer than that. Mike Zimmer comes in and replaces Chuck Bresnahan in Cincinnati. Okay?
I forgot about that. When Minnesota signed Zimmer, you cried a little.
I did. That was heartbreaking to me because you're talking about a guy.
What's sad though is that you knew, like when they signed Zimmer, you called Hugh Jackson leaving next.
Yeah.
You're like, he's gone next.
Well, they're talking about Marvin Lewis's coaching tree now. This guy has been able to send coaches out to be successful. You got Gruden in Washington. You got Zimmer over there in Minnesota. And Jackson, I liked what he was doing with the Raiders before they let him go. I mean, stupid move on the Raiders' part, but hey, you know what? You probably have who you want there.
I was going to say, it's worked out.
It's worked out. It could have gone worse, but Hugh Jackson's going to get another chance in Cleveland. And while I don't think RG3 is the reason he's going to be successful there, Hugh Jackson definitely has an offensive system that is good, that could be beneficial to the players he has there. Having said that, Minnesota, you got Mike Zimmer there. He's worked on the defense. They already had an offense. If you watched what they did last year, they leaned more on Adrian Peterson than they had previously. He's taken a little bit more of a beating, but he's also getting more opportunities. Bridgewater was able to just do some quick releases. Now you're okay. You know, your offense is starting to climb. The defense systematically has gotten better.
Okay.
Has gotten better. This is his 3rd year there. Okay? I'm telling you, they're going to go in and tell Green Bay, look, we're not your bitches anymore, okay? This is not a walkthrough for you guys. You're not going to be popping off 40 points on us anymore.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers' mustache?
Fear the stash? Is that what you said?
That was enough confidence for me right there. If you're a grown-ass man willing to wear that mustache, I believe in you. I believe in you.
I had to have to look up a picture of him.
You didn't see he was wearing a bolo tie and everything to their welcome back dinner.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting picture. I'm sold more on Zimmer. Aaron Rodgers, yes, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Zimmer has proven an ability. You won't see in many other defensive coordinators to shut down Ben Roethlisberger, you know, and Zimmer did it on the regular over there. Kept him down, you know, was able to keep his rating down low. You're talking about a coordinator who broke Tom Brady's passing streak, you know, set up a game plan. I'm telling you, this guy knows what he's doing. That defense was already going the right direction. Right. If we're talking about them losing a star defensive player as opposed to offensive player, I probably agree with you. But that defense is going to be competitive. Bringing Bradford in as opposed to some kind of game manager, I think makes that offense a little bit more dynamic. Because I do think he's better than Bridgewater. But that team knows how to use their running back. Minnesota knows their spots with them. And we're not talking about Chip Kelly learning how to use the best rusher in the league and destroying him. We're talking about an offensive coordinator in Minnesota who has already proven they know how to use Adrian Peterson to free up space for the quarterback. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. I could see some belief in that.
Right? I don't know if that's Aaron Rodgers or Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, no kidding.
But either way, I believe in that mustache.
That's pretty awesome. So, I think that Minnesota repeats this year. Again, my faith is more in Zimmer, but we'll see.
Randy Moss, Chris Carter aren't walking back through that door.
No, they're not. But again,
and if you're going to put the workload on Adrian Peterson like that, what do you do if you're the defense?
You're going to stack the box, but you're not playing Teddy Bridgewater. Don't get me wrong.
Which is another point. Teddy Bridgewater, say what you will about his accuracy passing and throwing deep balls, dude could move.
Yes, he
could move.
Yeah.
He created some stuff with his feet.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford can't.
No, but Bradford's a little more accurate on the arming side. So we're going to see if they can shape the game to Bradford a little bit. So that will be interesting. I don't see Green Bay running.
I see them struggling out the gate and him learning the system because he's got to know the system by week 1.
Yeah.
And they're going to fumble a little bit and as far as getting things down and getting timing down and everything else. And that could be crucial in that division race.
Yes, it could. So we will definitely see how that's going to pan out with them. So Bradford to Minnesota. Carson Wentz is going to start.
Yeah.
Rookie nightmare?
Nightmares is a strong word.
Let's just clarify this, okay?
Okay.
When Cincinnati was at its worst,
Okay.
they drafted players out of UNLV, Fresno State, NAIA schools.
Okay.
Again, not to bash those guys. Those guys are athletes in their own unique way. But if you want to be a competitive NFL team, you have to have the top tier athletes. Well, they were getting the second and third tier athletes. That's why they were never competitive on both sides of the ball. One of the things Marvin Lewis did was change his way of going after players. Carson Palmer. That was a change.
Where was Chad Johnson from?
Oregon State. Chad Johnson
right.
and TJ Husman's out of Oregon State.
I didn't know who Husman's was, but that's
they were
right.
both.
Chad
There was
Johnson
a funny story. Just off tangent, real quick. They played with another receiver at a junior college 2 years before they graduated. He was actually better than now Steve Smith Sr. Same class. He was actually better than Steve Smith Sr. and Chad Johnson was killed. I saw 30 for 30 on that. But anyways, so
way to bring the mood down.
we're talking about Carson Wentz and Goff.
Yeah, Jared
Goff. North Dakota State and
where'd Goff go? Cal?
Carson Wentz.
No,
he was another small school clown. Carson Wentz, North Dakota State. I'm sorry, but there was a reason you were at North Dakota State. No, don't get me wrong, Cowboy fans.
Can anybody tell me where North Dakota State's located?
Don't get me wrong. Everybody's gonna sing. The Cowboy fans are going, well, Romo was from Eastern Illinois or wherever the hell he was from. But
yeah, I was right.
This is
he played at Cal.
Did he play Cal?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, when's the last time a Cal quarterback came out?
See, you see what I mean about you getting old and that memory not working? Shit.
It tells you how much attention I paid to the freaking draft this year.
Yeah, it wasn't really worth paying attention.
We're going to see real quick if he's as big game as they made him out to be in college. You know, this guy, he's had spots where he looked good, but again, we're talking preseason. So when he comes out, he's going to welcome to the NFL, buddy. First string running back, first string linemen, first string linebackers, first string corners. They're not going to give him much gap.
What's the line from Major League? Oh, Willie Mays Hayes hitting home runs today. Yeah, off of pitchers that are going to be bagging groceries in a month or so.
Will be bagging groceries.
Yeah. And in case you didn't know, Jared Goff is listed as the third string quarterback for the season opener.
Yeah, for the Rams.
Yep.
Yeah. He is. They're going to bring him along. I think they've already said they're going to bring him along slowly. You know, that it should be an interesting, very.
They're going to start Case Keenum.
Yeah.
And then who's their second guy? Who's the backup to Case Keenum?
Good question. I'm not a Ram fan. Couldn't tell you.
Oh, you'd like to get Ram. It's different.
The flip side for Wentz, he could come out and go freaking Kirk Cousins or something too. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, saw an article that said he was a bust quarterback this year.
Really?
Why?
Kirk Cousins is a bust quarterback?
He doesn't have Alfred Morris this year.
Oh, that's right.
You know? I don't even know who Washington's next running back is. That could be a very interesting situation unfolding there. I have Kirk Cousins as a quarterback in one of my leagues. That guy could be chucking 50 passes a night this year. It'd be very, very interesting to see that.
You know who I'm thinking that the Rams' backup is?
Who's that?
Sean Mannion.
Oh, that kid from Oregon State.
Yeah.
Was he was on the roster too?
He played in the preseason.
Yeah, could very well be.
I'm looking right now to see if I can find it. Yep, Sean Mannion is expected to start as backup.
Wow.
Right on, good for him.
Hey, get it. All you need is an opportunity, right?
Yep.
For those of you that don't know, that's the guy that started in front of our boy Marcus McMaryion over at Oregon State for 2 years.
Yeah.
Ronnie Hillman, gone.
Yeah.
Released by the Broncos.
Yep.
Sold on C.J. Anderson, you think?
No.
Just don't want to put up with that.
No more problems. They don't want the problem. John Elway seems like a no bullshit kind of guy.
That could not have been said any better, man. That guy doesn't want anything like that in his clubhouse.
I think if Von Miller would have pushed any farther than he did in the offseason, like as much as Elway knows that he's like an impact player, he'd be like, fine, go fuck around somewhere else.
Yeah, no kidding. So,
go ahead.
Covered some NFL stuff.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Yeah. I want to talk about some discrepancies in your story.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Which one?
And the bullshit lies you're telling on this show. All right? We've done this show in 3 episodes together.
Okay.
And I listened to your episode before I edited it. And by the way, on a side note, I apologize for the latest episode. There were some technical difficulties in the audio at one point. It kind of overlaps. I don't know how that happened, but I'll make sure that it doesn't happen anymore. But anyway, in editing the episodes and putting them up, there was a discrepancy in your story as to what went down as to why you didn't go to the Fit Expo.
Are you talking about fact checking here? Because we're unprofessional here.
No, this ain't fact checking. There's a difference between fact checking and giving somebody straight bullshit.
What did I say on the podcast?
You said that we left you and we went without you and left you hanging. That is not what happened.
That was just me throwing some bullshit out there if I said that.
That's not what happened at all. I set the record straight. You knew a week in advance.
I had shit to do.
I'm not saying you didn't, but you made it sound like we left you and bailed on your ass and left you sitting here next to your wife on the couch. And that's not what happened at all.
Oh, man, I got to re-listen to that. I didn't realize I said that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then also talking about me always having a drink, whether it's water or whatever, got to have something in my mouth during the show.
I'm sure you fired back on your episode.
Oh, I did. As I said, I opened up the episode by saying that we still hadn't reached a number that matched your age yet. I told you, man. I told you. You don't want none of the young buck in this one. You don't want it. It'll be debilitating. You know? What I want to know is all the armchair quarterbacking you did.
Yeah.
How come you didn't want to talk about Tom Brady's 4-game suspension? The deflate gate got you thinking about deflated balls of your own?
It did, maybe a little bit. It's a little stirring to me sometimes.
Makes sense.
Because I don't think that was a just suspension. I think that's the biggest crock of shit. You know? I understand there's a PSI, but from what I've read, granted everything's not available to us. We only have certain articles and we can't go and pull all the facts out, you know, because I like to look at these when they accuse a player of something outside of video evidence. When they're saying so-and-so did this or so-and-so did that, and in this case they're saying Tom Brady told so-and-so to deflate the balls to this PSI. I'm looking for some kind of evidence. They don't have a.
You know what the one piece of evidence they said they had was, right?
It's the trainer that turned
on
him? Or?
It was a cell phone. They told him he had to hand over his cell phone and he broke his cell phone.
I still no smoking gun. You know, I...
Say what you want. Like, you can hate him. Like, I'm not a fan of him. I don't like him. But you got nothing on him.
Yeah.
He's the Barry Bonds of the football world. Yeah. You got nothing to prove.
You got nothing on him, and the guy's definitely good at what he does. Yeah. You know, you're not going to...
I mean, I'm never a fan of a man who wears Ugg boots.
We can make a long list of things that Tom Brady does that we're not fans of.
Yeah.
But, you know... In the end, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the way that process went down. I didn't care for it. I didn't think he deserved it. I think if you were going to go after people, I think that, you know, and not only that, here's my 2 cents on the rules of that for the NFL. If a quarterback knows he wants the ball deflated a little bit, is it a competitive advantage? Yes, you got a better grip on the ball. How hard is it to fucking deflate the other balls 2 PSI or 1 PSI? Or why isn't the other guy asking, hey, I want the ball a little underinflated? Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you what, watch that game over, his ball didn't fly any different. You know, you still got to chuck a ball with less PSI in a tight spiral the way he does.
I just think that there's too many factors in that to blame that. Like, understandably so, there's rules.
Yeah.
But there's still a guy that has to catch it. There's still a guy that has to defend that guy. There's still linemen that can come in and get him.
Yeah.
Like, other guys have to do their job.
Yeah.
And they didn't in that game.
The whole Belichick Spygate crap that came down, that was fucked up. I agree. That was done the wrong way by Belichick. You know, I mean, there's no secret that teams scout each other. Mm-hmm. You know, you're going to tell me that in a stadium with 60,000 people that there's not someone in there.
You can't account for everybody like that.
You can't. That goes on with everybody. He just happened to get caught with some extra stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's what happened with that one. This was different. Come on, man. You won't let them hit anybody coming across the middle. Okay? You don't want them. I don't like this. You don't want them to lead with their helmet. Fine. But you expect these guys to stop.
You can't hit below the knee.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. You ever tackled someone bigger than you? I have.
You gotta get low.
It ain't fun.
You gotta get low.
You gotta get low, and you gotta come back up.
If you don't get low enough, then what happens when that dude gets low too?
Yeah.
He's gonna crack you head to head.
Yeah.
And now both guys are hurt.
Well, now they call that a lineup by the running back.
Yeah.
If you're not out of the pocket, you can't do that, or out of the tackle box, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, guys are taking away football from what it used to be. Is it dangerous? Yes. We've had this conversation 1,000 times. These are grown men tackling each other. There's going to be some repercussions, physically, mentally, all of the above. Let them fucking play the game, you know. But anyways.
Anyway, before we got sidetracked. So, set the record straight.
Okay.
That's not what happened. Me and Mark didn't leave you hanging. All right?
If I said you left me hanging, then that was a blatant lie. You didn't leave me hanging.
That's right.
I had told them already that I couldn't go. Matter of fact, you guys checked with me the night before, I think.
I did.
I told you something.
I
had said something might change.
Move,
I was like, I had to reschedule this.
If some pieces could be moved around.
Oh, I was asking for someone to cover for me.
Yeah.
And they couldn't cover, so I wasn't able to go. And that happened like late Saturday night, I found out. So I was like, I can't go. So that doesn't change the fact that I was sitting at home pissed off because I couldn't go because they left me. You know, they could have dragged me out of the house or some shit like that. But, you know, who am I to
with
tell
what,
them?
a winch?
You know, so
yeah. Not to mention, I'm not trying to throw down with your wife, who I'm sure.
Hey, she was in the nursery. You could have driven to the church and abducted me, had me make a phone call saying you were gonna have me back at a certain hour, and there was nothing I could do about it. You know, he's in the trunk. If you really want to talk, we'll pull over. You know,
you hear that in the back? That's him. He said he's sorry.
No, I made a conscious choice to not go. Kind of fucked up because you guys were sending me pictures all goddamn day.
Oh, we did it on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
We did it on purpose.
I know you did. But yeah, so no, Primo, if you're listening for some reason, if I said that you guys punked me and left me out, then no.
It's all right, man. We know the real story. We know the truth about what happened that day. We know that meeting C.T. Fletcher was worth the trip in itself.
Yes, it was. I'm sure it was.
I would have liked to seen you standing next to Tito Ortiz, Mr. Strongman Competition.
That could have been interesting, especially with that picture he sent. Because I had just shaved my head too.
Yeah.
So that would have been a really.
You could have been the Mexican Tito Ortiz.
I am darker than him though.
That's what I said. You could have been the Mexican Tito Ortiz.
Well, what nationality is he?
He's technically Mexican American, but he looks lighter than that.
Yeah, he's a little light complected to be a Texas Mexican.
Yeah.
But anyways,
so
you got anything else you want to go over?
No. Like I said, we'll hopefully here pretty soon. We'll have some time to reach out to a couple guests that we've been trying to reach out to for a minute.
Yeah.
Hopefully get some different people up in here. Hopefully, if things work out scheduling wise, things are about to kick off for sure. No pun intended with football. But definitely trying to jump on some things coming up. Once again, UFC 203 is coming up this weekend. Stipe Miocic, Alistair Overeem is the main event. Mickey Gall and CM Punk. CM Punk makes his debut.
Yep.
So, and then you got Travis Brown versus Fabricio Verdum.
And that is that Saturday already?
Yeah, that'll be this Saturday.
I'll be at Magic Mountain Saturday.
Oh, you'll be at Magic Mountain Saturday, huh?
Yep. All day.
With adults or kids?
With adults. Well, it's my work trip.
Oh.
So that's where we're going this year. We went to Universal last year.
Do you do like the roller coasters?
Oh, hell yeah, I do, man. That's like that's a mad adrenaline rush. They got that Tatsu ride over there where they suspend you upside down.
How about this? Hey, fuck that, you can have it. The roller coasters are all yours, buddy. I don't do that shit.
I was telling Christina, I said, because I love it.
I'm a Universal guy because it's a movie-oriented thing.
Yeah.
It's more my speed.
In all honesty, it's more adult-themed, really,
Yeah.
even than Magic Mountain. You know, there's a little bit more adult appeal. Even the kid stuff, like the Shrek 3rd ride over there, it's a good ride. You know, the Despicable Me, I don't know if you've been on that one lately.
No.
That one's a good one.
It's been a while since I've been there.
They got the Walking Dead one. Man, we're going to have to make a trip out there.
Hey, fuck the Walking Dead one. I heard about that. Gil just went and did that. And he said that, like, there's real people mixed in and that. Fuck that.
Oh, yeah. I definitely got to do
nope.
that shit.
Fuck that. You want to do something fun? You want some adrenaline? Go to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal.
You know where I did go? We went one year on a Halloween. We went to Knott's Berry.
Oh.
And oh man.
Oh, in case you didn't know, Levi Stadium, right across the street from the parking lot,
Yeah.
Paramount's Great America.
Oh, nice.
But
Nice.
Knott's Berry Farm made me think of that.
Yeah.
But what did you say about Knott's Berry Farm?
They had a bomb ass setup that year. That was probably like 12 years ago already. It was one of our first company trips that we took out there. But man, that was awesome. We went through what they had an alien exhibit up there. Man, you want to talk about having the shit scared out of you? Me and Christina
Like
were walking.
Aliens the movie or like
No,
Aliens?
like aliens, like alien. It's called. I think it was called Alien Encounter.
Uh-huh.
And you would walk into rooms where you just couldn't see shit, and then all of a sudden things were popping off the walls, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good on the couch.
So yeah, I'll be.
I'm that old dude mentality where I don't even want to give out candy on Halloween. Like I shut the light off and put a sign on the door that says I ain't got no candy
you
here.
cheap bastard.
Like it ain't even about money. Like it's just about the fact that I hate Halloween.
You're
It's literally my least favorite day.
You're ruining some kid's dream of getting candy from a nice guy.
I'm sure the neighbors got some candy. They can help them out.
That's funny.
I got no desire for that whatsoever.
Anyways, so not knowing that, because Christina likes.
Maybe it's not necessarily the kids. It's just the ringing of the doorbell that pisses me off over and over again.
Right when you sit back down, you
Yeah.
get back up.
I told you, dude. I got that old head mentality.
Yeah,
I'm the get out of my yard guy. I told you. It's really what I am.
That's funny. All right, so as we're coming down here, Thursday night Super Bowl rematch, Carolina-Denver.
Who you got?
That should be Carolina. That should be all Carolina. Denver's in a flux with a QB right now. It's going to take them a couple weeks to figure out what he can and can't
Simeon
do.
gonna have a decent game.
Prediction: less than $150 passing, probably like 20 for 25 because he's going to be short.
1 or 2 picks.
Probably 2.
Even with no Josh Norman.
Even with Josh Norman, because this guy hasn't shown that he can play on that upper tier yet.
Yeah.
You know, he's young. He's going to have to go out there and play again against the first
ones.
stringers.
Yep,
He's got to
the
play
ones.
the ones.
Yep.
And even though they don't have Norman, you're still playing a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
Kuechly's going to be causing hell there like he always does. You know, so
The other thing, Josh Norman, speaking of him, went on some interview or something and said that every time I see OBJ, I'm going to bust him in the mouth because all he does is bitch and cry.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Those guys have been going back and forth.
That'd be a good one. He gets to see him twice. So
Yeah,
Should be a good
so
one.
Denver's going to be trying to figure things out for probably.
is there? That's the only game on Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday it's 5:30 local time.
Yep, NBC.
So, and it'll be in Denver. So I don't foresee you got a healthy Carolina offense now. So it's not just Cam Newton and Jason Stewart and Greg Olsen. You got Benjamin back. You got Funchess playing now. You got some multiple weapons for Cam. That offense could be scary. We're going to see what the defense is like because we all remember when Rivas left the Jets, we saw what happened. There's a hole now.
Yeah.
You know, what used to take care of half the field is now wide open.
The good news
So-
is they don't got a grizzled vet who knows how to look for that hole
Yeah.
yet. So
Yeah, so again, we'll see. Their defense was definitely good still.
who's Cincinnati got opening weekend?
Cincinnati's got the Jets opening weekend.
Jets,
Yeah.
Jets.
So we'll cover a little more and a preview
Friday.
of NFL on
Yeah.
Friday since
We'll have the result of the opener.
we'll have the Thursday night game, a little bit of recap there.
Who are the 2 Monday night games?
That is Pittsburgh, Washington. They have the early game. That's the 4:10 game, and then the Rams and Niners.
Who the hell gave the Rams and the Niners the Monday night game opening week? What the fuck?
It is a division game.
I don't give a shit.
Well, that's the logic.
Case Keenum versus Blaine Gabbert is your matchup.
Are they in college still?
You would think so. Hey, are they playing in San Fran or in LA?
I'm gonna tell you what, man. They're in San Fran.
I was gonna say if they're playing at the Coliseum, it is college.
They're in Santa Clara. I'm gonna tell you what, man. That Rams defense is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
So that should be a long night for Frisco. That should be a very long night.
Case
for Frisco.
Keenum play a full year this year?
No.
He's too injury prone?
No, not injury prone. I think
He's
that
got concussion
They
issues.
haven't had
Which I said about your boy Tyler Eifert.
Yeah.
Nobody listened to me, and I went, "He's not playing yet. He's still." And,
He's not gonna play for 3 more weeks.
and everybody's like, "He's good." And then it comes out that he's still sitting.
3 to 5 weeks is
Yep.
what the original thought was. 3 to 5 weeks.
This
to start
concussion thing is becoming more and more real, and people don't realize it. It's even gotten into NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Jr.,
will
yeah.
not race the rest of this year.
Yeah.
He missed 6 races. He's missing the last 6 because of concussion issues.
Symptoms, yeah.
He's not like this is becoming a very
Yeah.
real thing in sports.
Well, and what they're doing is they're paying attention to the stuff that they never used to.
Yep.
You know, it used to be you had to black out for them to evaluate you for that. Man, they see you take a funny step, they're pulling you out, and they're going to do that initial test. If you don't pass that initial, you're going back.
What's funny to me is they're not doing this with severe injuries.
Severe.
Like torn knees and stuff like this.
Not yet.
You think that's where it's headed?
I think it's going to be probably within 2 years because you're talking about something that is, I don't want to say it's as big as the concussion, but it's as equal number of injuries. People twist their knees and their ankles all the time, you know. So I think, again, that's where it's heading. They're wanting to take care. And here's the problem. Honestly, it's not the problem. Here's why. Every year that passes is another year of players that retire that are having physical problems now. The concussion is the big one because we're looking at guys that wore the thin helmets back in the 70s,
right,
early 80s. Not thin helmets, but stuff that didn't protect you as much from that. Every time a group retires, there's a different issue now. The planting, the turning, the pivoting. You're going to start seeing that stuff start coming out more and more. We're getting to the point where you got guys like from the mid to late 90s or on the tail end, if not walking out already for 2, 3, 5 years. Watch, you're going to start seeing, they didn't tell me this. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I can't walk now. I can't take care. You're going to start seeing
one of the biggest quotes this year in professional sports, David Ortiz, having in the hunt for the MVP-esque year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes to the media last week and they said, why are you walking away? You still play this game at a high level, at a professional level. And he said, and I quote, it's not because I can't do it anymore. It's because my body doesn't want to do it anymore. He wakes up every day with pain in his heels, pain in his feet that he has to get treatment on every time he shows up to a ballpark. It's not that he can't see the ball. Yeah. It's not that he can't hit the ball. Yeah. It's the fact that it hurts to get him out of bed every day.
Yeah. Quality of life. We talked about that with Romo too, so we'll see. So Thursday night, Carolina, Denver.
I got Carolina in that one too.
Yeah, I can't see them losing, even on the road. I can't.
I got Cam throwing for 1, rushing for 2.
I'm gonna say throwing for 3, rushing for 1.
Okay,
that's what I think. I see him having again. Denver's defense is still good, but it's just too many weapons now. Too many throwing weapons. You got more options outside of Greg
Olsen. I wouldn't really say Funches is a weapon yet.
No, but he's a viable option. He hasn't proven to be a weapon.
They're not going to double up on Benjamin yet. They want to see where he's at off that injury.
They're not going to double up on anybody. They're going to stack.
Benjamin has a good stretch of game, 2-3 games. Watch.
Yeah, they're going to tell them Stewart and Cam are not beating us running the ball. You're going to have to throw it, Cam, if you want to beat us. That's what they're going to say. And we're going to again
see.
I think that's why I think he throws 3 and runs, maybe rushes for 1. I don't know if that rushing one will be there or not.
I think it will. I think he'll get it.
You're going to have Von Miller.
Broken play, he gets.
You're going to have Von Miller spying him.
This is why I got him rushing for 2. Broken play, he gets 1. And design play, he gets 1.
Be interesting to see.
Hit. Half-yard line, who's keeping it?
He's keeping it. He's the big boy.
He's stretching out for it.
Yeah, so. All right, well, we covered a little bit of everything today again, so. Your what to watch for is your Thursday night game, opening week.
NFL is officially back.
Hell yeah! So my marriage goes on pause for the next 3.5 months. My wife loves to put that on Facebook. We now interrupt this marriage for football season.
No, okay. I never thought that was true. I used to think that was a running joke until was it opening weekend last year that we were here?
Raiders and Bengals, yeah.
When no, I know we were here for that game, but when we were here when Janessa FaceTimed you.
That was last year. That was the game, yeah.
So we're sitting here watching the game. Game's in the third quarter. And Manuel's wife is in another room. She's doing her own thing while we're watching the game. We barbecued. We did it up. We're watching the game. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden, we hear his wife talking as she's walking through the house. Realizing she's on their iPad. And she's FaceTiming with their daughter who's in college in Kansas. Comes in and says, here, talk to your dad. And what does Manuel say? Why are you interrupting my football game? I'll talk to you after. What do you want? Which was hilarious. So it is true.
Yeah.
The Bengals football's on. Get out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
Which reminds me, I do got a little bit of beef with you about this.
Okay.
Where's the damn man cave, man?
Hey, man, I've had a long work year, okay? We started phase 1 today. I cleaned out. I gotta put your ass on blast next time you bitch about getting up early.
Oh, no. You don't get to play the early card with me, buddy. This is coming from a guy. I told you didn't want it.
I'm just gonna pull out the violin and go.
No. You don't get to play this card. This guy wanted this. He's gonna get a little bit of it right now. This guy wants to play the early card with me. He gets up every day at 4. Right? You get up at 4.
4:30.
Okay,
Yeah.
4:30. I'm a half hour into my work day when you drag your big ass out of bed. Okay? I've already driven an hour to my first stop. and then started working while you're taking the crust out your eyes and brushing that one tooth you got to fix up.
This is perfect.
Yeah, this guy. Who knows how much I have going on. Who thinks that, oh, hey, how's he going to pull up that card? Oh, I'll tell you exactly how I pull up this card. The amount of money I make and the amount of shit I got going on, you can't play the violin. That's just hard work and hustle. So put your violin away.
Oh, man, that's good. All right, well, this has been episode 36.
37.
37.
I told you, that old age is a motherfucker. Don't
I
get old.
I don't keep
Stay young for as long as you can. If you listen to this, don't ever grow up. Don't ever grow
Going
up.
Happy Gilmore now.
Billy Madison.
Oh, that's right.
See? I told you.
Man.
Alzheimer's is a motherfucker. I told you.
All right, this has been episode 37.
That's right.
Yeah, 37. Manuel,
Justin.
we've been
Totally unprofessional.